license required by
You
law.
bring that?
Wait a minute.
Hey, Andy?
Yes.
Hey, I looked up the
Would you all please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the September board meeting. Time marches on and waits for no man or woman. So, would you call the roll, Hoggy?
Bruner.
Here.
Ellis.
Here.
Farnham.
Here.
Lawton.
Here.
Ludington.
Here.
Patrick.
Here.
And Voigt.
Here. Next, we have the minutes for the August 9th regular meeting. You've had that in your possession. Is there any corrections or any problems with the minutes? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve the minutes as presented by the clerk. Phil moves. Andy seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. They are approved. Next, we have claims against the county. Do you have any questions or clarifications needed on the bills? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion for the claims to be approved. Dan moves. Russ seconds. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Claims are approved. County board member claims. You've had those. Are there any questions? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve county board member claims. Andy moves. Dan seconds. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. They are approved also. Next, we come to the portion of the meeting for public comment. Rostrum is up there. We ask you to identify yourself and limit your comments to the board to 5 minutes. Are there any public comments this morning, please? Hearing none, we'll go on to item 8, which is the Highway Department. First item is resolution authorizing county board chairman to sign a BLR 05530 with Chastain and Associates for Buck Township, PE Phase 0 on the section described there in the agenda. Anybody have any further questions or need clarification from either Josh or Aaron, our engineer? I'd entertain a motion for the resolution. Phil moves. Dan seconds. Any further discussion? I'm sorry. Mr. Clerk, would you call the roll?
Certain. Bruner.
Yes.
Ellis.
Yes.
Farnham.
Yes.
Lawton.
Yes.
Ludington.
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Okay. It is approved. Next resolution authorized county board chairman to sign BLR 05530 with Chastain and Associates, Buck Township on Road 1400 in PE Phase 0. Is there anything, any questions or comments? Entertain a motion. Bill moves. Andy seconds. Mr. Clerk?
Bruner.
Yes.
Ellis.
Yes.
Farnham.
Yes.
Lawton.
Yes.
Ludington.
Yes.
And Patrick.
Yes.
It is approved. Next, resolution authorizing county board chairman to sign a BLR 05530 with Chastain and Associates for Shiloh Township, and we're talking about the intersection of 000 E/1900 North for a CE Phase 3. Any questions on that, please? Okay, entertain a motion to approve that resolution, please. Phil moves. Andy seconds. Any further discussion? Mr. Clerk?
Brunner.
Yes.
Ellis.
Yes.
Farnum.
Yes.
Lawton.
Yes.
Ludington.
Yes.
And Patrick.
Yes.
It is approved, thank you. Next and finally, under the highway issues, a resolution appropriating funds for the payment of the county engineer's salary. Dan, I'm sure you want to move that, don't you?
No comment.
We're having fun here. I don't want anybody to think there's,
I'm voting for it.
I need a motion to approve that resolution. Dan moves. Andy seconds. Any further discussion or clarification needed? Mr. Clerk?
Brunner.
Yes.
Ellis.
Yes.
Farnum.
Yes.
Lawton.
Yes.
Ludington.
Yes.
And Patrick.
Yes.
The resolution is approved. Now bear with me while I read the next one. Ordinance providing for the issue of not to exceed $8 million in general obligation bonds, sales tax alternate revenue source, Series 2023, for the purpose of acquiring land for improving the site of and constructing and equipping a jail facility and paying costs of other capital improvements related to public safety in and for the county, the pledge of certain revenues to pay the principal and interest on said bonds, and the levy of direct annual tax sufficient to pay such principal and interest if the pledged revenue are insufficient to make such payment, and the sale of said bonds to the purchaser thereof. So that is the purpose of it that the bond attorney wanted us to read. Now we need to discuss some things. You did see that we received from Delina, and you have a copy of this. I talked to her on the phone yesterday and asked her initially whether all of that sufficient money for the defeasance of $651,000 was due at the time of the actual motion or action of defeasance, and the answer is yes. Now, there are various and there are options. The payback could be immediate, like she said, we declare the defeasance, and then all of that would be due. You could wait a year or two, or even 3, and collect interest and use that interest to pay the defeasance. We could pay the money out of the other bond fund, and we could also use part of that bond fund for, just hypothetical, the elevator, and then pay defeasance the rest of it. There are all kinds of different options if that comes to pass. Questions on that? Yes.
So the challenge would be, if this was what we ended up doing, is and we chose to deposit in an escrow account, that we would have to come up with $700,000.
Yeah, 651.4, yeah. Yes, or some portion thereof. If we wait a couple of years, we make a bond payment or two, collect more interest, maybe use part of that for some other project, then that would decrease that amount. Okay, or you use the other bond fund. We've got both of them. It would make sense to use the $10 million bond fund because we can use that and refinance that or return that without penalty at any time. Okay. I did talk to Michael, and I said, where are we on the cost estimates? Okay. Michael said that the cost estimates are still good at this point. In fact, what they have been, and they're going to talk to us about, is they have been able to save us cubic footage. They have been able to, now that their structural engineer has really got into it, they've been able to drop the roof line about 2 feet. So that is I don't know how significant that is, but at least it's in Instead of raising it, which cost us, we're compacting it even further, which would lead Michael to believe that our cost estimates are still fairly valid. For example, the generator, instead of extremely large generator, we're talking about a fairly, I think it's what, 160 kV instead of the 200 and, what have we got, 230 at the jail right now, Carl?
I'm not sure.
Somewhere in that,
It's
somewhere in that.
oversized, yes.
Yes. So, that's just some points. Now, discussion?
I guess the main reason we're doing this now is to lock in, possibly lock in, to cover ourselves in case there's an increase in interest rates, basically.
Well, and if we don't do it right now, we can't proceed with the project because we don't have a guarantee of the funds.
And that's pretty important.
Yeah.
I mean, if, we only have 10 million of the 17.
Right, but we don't, but if, I guess, in Josh indicated possibly January, it'd be going out to bids and we would know what it's gonna cost. We can't wait till then.
Well, we could, but would we want to pass something? Would we want to then say it falls within budget? We don't got enough money to pay it.
But we can go out do this same process at that point. Because, I guess I'm concerned that we go borrow money and if for some reason we can't do it, then we guaranteed it's gonna cost us
Oh, I understand.
$700,000.
I just don't think it's fiscally wise to proceed with the project you can't fund. And what happens if the rates go to 6%? Then we can't afford it. That's my opinion.
Right,
I mean,
understand.
I don't think, you said, well, there's a possibility that, they may come way over budget and we don't build the project. I don't think that's really a scenario, do you?
no, I don't.
I don't
But
either.
I think we
may have to
need,
trim
as Carl rightfully points out, we need to consider all the possibilities.
Right.
And if we do our due diligence on this thing and explore the worst, the best,
Right.
and everything in between, then, and we decide collectively that this is the way we want to proceed, then although we could still be criticized, at least we've considered all of the possibilities.
But there, again, the roof project, they told us it was gonna be 1.4 and it came in at 1.9. And then, of course, then they found more and there's another $500,000, which is kind of a separate issue, but the elevator, they were talking 400 to 500,000, now they're up to 850.
700,000.
Yeah, so, I just,
Well, part of that's waiting.
Yeah.
This stuff has gone up.
Other folks.
This is a lot of financial talk. A lot of it I don't understand. Hell, I can't balance my own checkbook. This is kind of out of my area, millions. I was just a teacher. We didn't make any kind of money. But we just gotta do the smart. We're gonna get criticized no matter what, so we gotta do what we think is the right thing to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, madam?
Just a clarification question on the wording. When you talk about levying the funds that are still outstanding, is that coming out of the public safety tax or is that an additional levy?
That's public safety tax. Yeah, this is all public safety tax. And then there is a reserve left to fund the sheriff's department to the level in which we think is appropriate. Russ? Okay. Lisa?
looking at our history that we have now with the 10 million
Mhm.
and having it invested and how much it is yielding, if by chance we don't do it and we end up having $8.6 million in an escrow account earning interest, I am confident that it would make back the 651,000. So in that case, it's, well, over how many years?
Yeah, you're borrowing at 4.9, it depends on what you get that invested in. If it's less than that, then it's gonna cost you the whole time.
Well, yeah, and if you figured still at like 4.5, that's $810,000 in 1 year.
So I'm glad that we are having this conversation, really glad. I am not seeing this as being, this will be defeasance. If that happened, I'm not seeing it costing us money of any significant amount. And I'm glad that we wouldn't have 18 million in this situation. That makes me feel much more comfortable.
We do have a lot of options, you're correct.
We do.
We could even sell the land. I mean, I don't think we should entertain, I mean, we have all kinds of options. So, does anybody care to make a motion to approve this ordinance? Andy moves. Sorry, just missed it by a hair, Russ. Andy moves and Russ seconds. Further discussion. And remember, we're still not pulling the trigger completely until a few more weeks. This just makes it possible to proceed, okay?
Well, I'm not really sure where we stand on this whole
Okay.
deal. I mean, I just.
Once we get our rating and pricing, that's when we're totally locked in. And that'll be in the first part of October. And then the bonds will be advertised.
So once that happens, we'll know better where we stand. We'll know a lot better where we stand once that's all done.
It's not gonna vary a whole lot. I mean, we're not gonna know anything about the building, any changes in the cost, if that's what you mean. We're not gonna know that again, probably for another month or 6 weeks. Yes,
And this is based upon what rating?
a
AAA?
2,
A 2.
yeah, AA. And there's a slight possibility we could get a AAA. But again, Delana and her firm have figured this all very conservatively. Okay?
So then, once we have all the information, then we'll have to come back and do it.
Yeah, we'll do a special
Formal
meeting.
approval.
We'll do a special meeting where we can get together and show it. We'll have a phone conference with Delana and we'll do it. It'll be fairly short order. I mean, we're all gonna have to be available.
And at that point, you'll know exact figures.
Yeah, we'll know pretty much what the pricing's gonna be and what the cost is, okay? Phil, did I sorta answer your question?
Sorta.
Well, I mean, there are,
This, I'm not in finance a lot, but as long as you guys that do this understand it, I mean, I trust you people. Nothing personal, I'll do it, so.
are you ready to vote? Mr. Clerk, I will vote also.
Brunner,
Don't quite understand it, but I'll vote for it.
Ellis,
Yes.
Farnum,
No.
Lawton,
Yes.
Ludington,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
and Hoyt.
Yes.
Here, you big dummy.
Okay. Thank you. It does carry. Next, engage Zions Bank as the bond registrar. Just something, that housekeeping item, that if the bonds are sold, there's somebody that keeps track of the coupons, makes the payments, keeps us out of trouble. The cost is, I don't know, upfront cost of $9,000, and it's like $150 or $250 a year for them to do their project for the next 30 years. Motion to engage Zions Bank, their trust department. Andy moves, Russ seconds. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. Does carry. Next, approve amended Supreme Court order for 2024 holiday, which includes Election Day, but Edgar County Courthouse will be open on Election Day. Per Judge Sullivan. Can we, instead of saying the courthouse, it's been pointed out that maybe we should say the county would be open in his offices, including the courthouse, something so that we don't have, I mean, we're totally open, it's not just the courthouse. Do you see what I'm saying? Or am I being too technical?
Can we just eliminate, scratch out the election day? Then it's not an issue.
Augie?
We don't have to approve this, you know, we can just approve 13 instead of the 14.
Yeah, I think the intent, correct me, Jeff, but I think the intent was to just put this on file and say, we understand that the Supreme Court sent that down. Judge Sullivan said, okay, however, Edgar County is not going to recognize Election Day. And the courthouse will still be open.
Well, it's the county,
So-
will be open, all
Courthouse,
of
the
its
sheriff's
offices.
department, county highway.
Yeah,
health
they're all
department.
open.
All county
Okay,
offices.
I just know what he wrote. He made a note. There was a note on it.
Well, we as a board want to,
But you can do it however you want to do it.
Right.
But
I mean, I don't think it's fair that we require all of the courthouse to work, or, you know, the judge, we can modify that and have all of our offices open, can't we? I mean, that's just my opinion. Or we just eliminate, like Carl says, Election Day from that list, just strike it. Promotion.
That's what I do.
How's it worded?
yeah, then you're right back where you were.
Yeah,
I mean-
we're approving this amended thing, and the only thing, but according to this, I guess if we pass this, then all the other offices will be closed.
Right. Well, we want it to be, I mean, but it says courthouse.
It says court system.
On that calendar it does, right?
Well, I know, but I'm looking at the motion.
Well, you need to read the way it's come, it
Well, I don't,
comes out of the Supreme
guys, however
Court.
you wanna do it. I
No,
get-
but I get, it is hereby ordered that the following holidays shall. So I don't know if you could just say, well, we're not gonna do it. I don't know. I mean, this is Supreme Court.
Yeah, we don't have to follow what they said.
No,
Okay, okay.
It's only
Far
the
as
court
I'm concerned.
system that has to do that.
Pardon?
It's the court system
Yeah,
that
that
has
only
to do
affects,
that.
they're saying this is the court
Right.
system.
Yeah, and so your current existing holiday calendar that you've
Okay.
approved does not include Election Day anyway.
So on the agenda is approving the amended Supreme Court.
do we even have to do that?
So, no, there again, I just thought we would put it on file. That was the intent. Now, I might not have worded it exactly the way
Oh,
now
that's fine.
in hindsight, but it was just to put it on file so that if there's
Okay.
ever a question, we could go back and, yes, it's right here.
Okay, so you're saying by doing this, we're just putting it on file, but then we're not saying that we're setting that as the holidays for the,
Because it's not on the list, right? Is Election Day on the courthouse, or
Yes.
on that?
2024 general election day.
Well,
Okay.
we're not, I just wanna make it clear to our employees what we're doing. I think that's your intent too, right?
Yeah,
If we don't do anything or strike What do you wanna do, Carl? It doesn't matter to me.
Do we have to do it today? I think there's questions.
I don't
mean, is
see
there
it
a
any.
deadline doing it today?
Right, that's what my,
No,
No.
so we can come back next
Yeah.
month.
I don't see it any different than when you accept the filing of my semi-annual report. You're not approving it or disapproving it, you're just acknowledging it's been filed. And,
Well, then we could change the wording from approve to accept. But
I
then we
just think
still
it-
allow election day to be a day off, right? Yes,
Question, I said, so if it is like technically a holiday that we're not doing, would we get paid holiday pay for work? I mean, that's something else to think about.
well,
Yeah.
Just bringing it up to your discussion.
well, the courthouse folks are not getting it as an election, a holiday. So why, I'm sorry.
No, I mean, as a county in general,
Right, why, no,
since
you,
it's like it was something we're not.
Right, in the policy, it states if you work a holiday, it's time and a half.
but it's not a holiday, according to the judge.
Okay.
I don't know.
For
We
the
need
court
to,
system.
right,
All he's
let's,
saying is for the court system.
why don't we table,
Yes.
Andy moves to table, Carl seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. So, we need to act, we'll figure it out. Yes, I see what you're saying, Jill.
Just curious, of bringing it up to you guys to discuss.
Paralegal hat on. Okay, next item is appoint Mark Baxter, trustee Hughes Mutual Drainage District. Motion to approve. Lisa? Carl seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. That is approved. John McGinnis, trustee, Brockton Drainage District, east and west ditches. Motion to approve, Carl. Russ? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. He is appointed. Resolution to opt out preferential assessment for affordable rental housing construction and rehab pursuant to the property tax code. We talked about that on Monday. Now, some of you may not have been here. Do you want to give a brief synopsis of that, Dina, so everybody's,
Yes, in a nutshell, the hardship on me would be I would have to track the income of every tenant in the structure yearly to make sure that that housing is supplying extremely low rent to this level of income, and there's 3 levels. So every year I have to track the income of their tenants to verify that they are housing those particular income levels of people. I don't have the staff or time to monitor people's income. I don't even, I don't know how big a housing project could be, but if you're talking 20 or 30 apartments and trying to verify income, which people don't want to cooperate with that, I mean, it would be difficult to get.
if we run into a problem, can we reverse this?
Yes, and
Okay.
and if I remember right, there is a sunset to this whole Affordable Housing Act anyway. So all we're doing is opting out to prevent a hardship on us there's been noises about housing being built, so that's my only concern, if that should happen. If you decide that, this is something we want to pursue, you can opt back in.
I'll make a
Carl
motion.
moves. Andy seconds. Any further discussion? Mr. Clerk?
Brunner,
Yes.
Ellis,
Yes.
Farnum.
Yes.
Lawton.
Yes.
Ludington.
Yes.
And Patrick.
yes.
I'd like to, is approved. I'd like to add a note here, I guess I'm a little thick this morning on the election deal. I wanna make sure that the way I view it, only me, is that it's still a holiday. And that we need to check that out, but if it's still a holiday, and it's on the court calendar, the folks that have to work at the courthouse would be paid for holiday pay plus have to work. But we need to check that out. So, number 15, approve administrative assistant agreement and job description between Edgar County Board and Jessica Key. You have that. on your file. Lisa and I worked on that, and she's basically doing that. We just want to codify. She actually works for the board. She does not work for any other department and operates, yes.
I've got a question on the back page.
Yes, sir.
I didn't want to interrupt you. but
You're fine.
I'm confused on that. You paid it half her current.
The
Is it an error?
part 4, or section 4, number C, other, vacation, personal days, sick time to be paid at half of her current full-time days.
Yeah. Because she's only working part-time. She's working roughly 25 hours a week.
She's not a,
She's not full-time.
well, I didn't know that.
I'm sorry. It
Just
should,
like the hours. I
Well, she was
see what it
full-time.
the hours.
no, she is not full-time.
I see, okay.
That's why we're doing it that way.
All right.
Okay? Now, at some point, we'll come back, and if she wants full-time, then we'll offer that or not offer that according to the board and what they feel is necessary. Right, Lisa?
Yep.
Okay? Glad that clarification. Motion to approve. Lisa moves, Carl seconds. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. It is carried. Number 16, we still have not received anything from our state's attorney on that, so it remains tabled. We'll try our very best to see if we can't get something out so it's gone, because it's been, well, what has it been, a couple months?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Next is officer department head reports. Augie, do you want to go
No,
first?
I don't have anything. If you have a
Okay.
question.
Aaron?
Nothing, unless you have any questions,
Dina?
Just announce that we have a retirement in our office, so we'll be down one employee for a while. The 4 of us are all taking a share of her duties for the time being because, as everyone knows, how hard it is to get employment. So we'll be starting that adventure. The biggest thing, downfall for us, the minute we start talking to someone, we tell them about the exam process. They don't want to do that. So I have 2 girls this week at school, and they left full of nerves and couldn't sleep and last night and didn't eat because it's 2 days of class and then an exam, so. Anyway, we're down 1, Wanda. You all receive, we'll have a little social cake and punch thing, but we will be on the look for employees.
Jill?
We recently finally got our shipment of smoke detectors in, so we're partnering with Red Cross, not really to do the city because the city has their own, I guess, program they do from the fire service thing. So we're basically looking at outside of the city of Paris, got a case in, so we're working with Rick Eastham and the other fire chiefs, because they have to be installed by fire personnel in order for them to be legit, I guess, and paperwork filed. We're in the process of starting to plan for, this year I have to do a tabletop followed by a functional, then a full-scale exercise. So we're in the process of planning that. We have a meeting coming up sometime in October. Also, I just want to brag on our department a little bit. We went to our IEMA summit last week. Aaron and I both received our PDS certificate, which is Professional Development Series. And it's nothing we have to do, it's just something elective extra you can do. So we both completed that. We got recognized, got to meet the director of IEMA, picture taking and all that kind of stuff. So I was very proud of us. And then I also was surprised, I guess it was Wednesday morning, I received a special recognition award in front of everyone at the summit for basically I was nominated by my regional coordinator. We're Region 7 in the area, so I think out of 9 regions, I was one of 9 in Illinois that got recognized at our summit. So I got a big, plaque and all that kind of stuff. So I was very excited and very honored, so everybody was joking that maybe they'll realize where Edgar County is now, so. But other than that, just my good news, like I said, that's about it.
Anybody have any questions?
Congratulations.
Yes, congratulations. Adam, you gave a report on Monday.
Nothing new since Monday.
Okay. We're gonna get a hold of, who do we get a hold of, you or Sam, to talk about the contract?
I would probably include both of us, to be honest.
Okay, all right, because we wanna start talking to you to see how, what kind of,
We got copies of it now.
yep. So, thank you, Adam. Morning, Monica.
Hello there. Just an update on our building issues. I sent out Andy and Josh, I sent you guys an email yesterday after all of the testing. I got it, CertPro gave us their, I guess it's their final quote, which is about 3 times what it was initially. So it came out at $86,160. And they did asbestos testing. Unfortunately, the asbestos abatement company will have to come in and remove the asbestos. So the demolition will have to be done by the asbestos abatement company. That is AAA asbestos. They are licensed through IDPH, so they're certified asbestos removal agents. And I have to accept their bid formally, and then it's 10 working days before they can come and start. So they will be the beginning of the process. Our damage includes 6 offices, 2 hallways, and a waiting room. So we have to clear quite a bit. Last Friday, I just have to brag on 4 of our people. Lots of people were out sick or otherwise engaged, but we had 4 very dedicated employees who helped us move everything but 2 offices and a waiting room. So we are ready for them to begin, with the exception of just moving those 2 last-minute offices, which are the WIC offices. We want to have the least amount of disruption there. And I didn't neglect to mention, we also have a dental operatory that was affected. So we will move that last. It's in a different part of the building. It's been a real challenge to find space for all of the things that we had to move out, so we're a little cramped, but everybody's doing okay. I've asked repeatedly if we had to close during this process. I have been assured multiple times that we do not, that they will seal off the areas that they're working in and have negative pressure machines, so we should be safe to work. I expect, I'm ready to send a letter of acceptance to the asbestos company, so I expect within the next 3 weeks they'll be getting started.
What asbestos is it? I mean, where is the asbestos?
I think it's mainly in the ceiling.
So they were damaged by the water, so they need to be replaced, so they need to be.
Yes.
And have you and Josh communicated so they can update?
Yeah, I was gonna try to text you before that.
Yes, I sent them the new estimate when I got it.
All right.
So, yes.
So all this is gonna get covered under insurance?
Well, I hope so. I mean, it should.
Yeah,
It certainly was damaged from the
Right,
storm.
right.
If it hadn't been damaged, we wouldn't have to do any of this.
So, exactly.
So,
So.
And we have had also wall damage, but there's not asbestos in the walls. It's
So you're gonna get that information to the insurance company?
Yeah, well, I'll discuss with her and I'll try to hit Andy and we'll see where we're at with numbers and stuff and see what we need.
They're gonna do the entire project and replace and none.
They don't replace.
So they haven't done anything yet?
They have done nothing yet. I mean, they've come and tested and tested and tested. I have called and called and called to keep the project moving. They're probably tired of me.
So after this is done, then it's a separate contract, separate people to put the drywall in.
Drywall back and paint.
How about the ceiling?
That would be the drywallers.
Drywallers.
So they can
So is there someone scheduled to do that
Well,
one?
there was, and he has stopped responding. He came out, he looked at the project, he was in contact, he and the ServPro people were talking about what the needs were. I asked him multiple times for a quote, and he has not responded, and ServPro told me that he's quit responding to them as well. So I'm back to square one. Yeah.
He's obviously got more jobs now than he does in the past.
So I guess if he's not going to, we need to
I mean,
find
he's probably
somebody
telling
else.
us good luck. There aren't very many people who do that.
I've got a couple other names to try, but, you know, I really thought we were on point here, and it's, I'm sure you know how frustrating it is to try to coordinate all this and get people to follow through. But I need to have the least amount of disruption as possible, you know. We've got people that we have, for our WIC clients, you know, when a baby is born, we have 10 days to get that baby in to our WIC program to be seen. And so it's really impacting the program, and it doesn't help when I can't get people to commit, so.
Okay.
Drywall.
One other thing I was gonna
Now we'll
mention,
come in and do repairs.
as you know, we hired a dentist. She has gotten her Illinois license, and we are now in the credentialing process. So she's going to be moving to Illinois soon. We're in the first phase of the credentialing process. So I anticipate it will be early November before she's credentialed fully.
We good? Hi Wyatt,
Morning.
how are you doing?
Just fine.
Do you have anything you wish to discuss with us?
Not particularly, I would just continue, I hear more and more about these battery storage sites, and when it comes to ordinances, think that's something we need to get the ball rolling on. Each month I have a regional meeting with other county farm bureaus within central Illinois, and that's something that's coming closer and closer, it sounds.
So you have some language for me?
I'm working on that. There is a county in southwestern Illinois that is putting one together right now, so.
While we're discussing, did you folks have anything, when is that meeting? Is that tonight?
I was gonna bring that up, that the company has informed the Vermillion County Commissioner who had organized it that they were not going to appear, so the meeting is canceled.
That would be on the CO2 pipeline and storage over in the two counties in Indiana. Wyatt, it just made me think of that.
Yeah, and that's something, knock on wood, we haven't had here. There's county farm bureaus in western and northwestern Illinois that they're just loving all that stuff, so. We're one of the lucky ones right now.
And I had shared that there is a group in Illinois that does have a website or social media presence who does have some sample ordinances, but I have not looked at those yet.
Have we heard anything, or is there any activity on wind that we've heard of from any of your members, or?
Not since I reported the last time that some of the villages declined to accept payment or sign new contracts.
As far as from the members, the most that I have heard is approaching about battery storage. The members have been approached just to outright buy a parcel versus lease for battery storage. Solar, I assume that's gonna be the bigger one here for a while. I haven't heard anything on wind.
Okay. That's good. Yes, Carl?
Well, you mentioned CO2 in western and northwestern, what's going on there, or do you know the details?
I can give you the 1,000 feet view. Basically, ethanol companies in Iowa want to use pipelines to bring in liquefied carbon, CO2.
Right.
And we have a sandstone layer underneath Illinois, especially central Illinois, that is ideal
Right.
for capturing this and keeping it in ground. So they wanna go down to the ground underneath, mostly central Illinois, and park it there. Decatur ADM has 2 pipes that already go into the ground on their facility. One's at Farm Progress Show that you can see. So, and they have a whole laboratory for it. So,
Really.
there's a huge pipeline that's coming out of Iowa, and it's a fight across western Illinois.
But I know Sangamon County put a moratorium on that particular one.
Yes, I believe that's a different one. There's one coming from.
It's coming from South Dakota.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
So there's multiple
I believe so.
pipelines coming into Illinois.
yeah.
Yeah, when we had the meeting last week with the people from Wabash Valley, they said from like the Terre Haute area up to Peoria is the best area for this.
Yeah.
And that's why people
It's a sandstone shelf layer
are, right,
that holds the liquefied CO2 really well, I guess.
so that's why they're coming our way.
Is there sandstone under Chicago? Still under Chicago, if that blows, it'd be part of Indiana.
I hope this is the appropriate time. I have had several calls about roofers in the county. And I wanted to make you aware of it. It's kind of a scam where they come in and kind of talk a landowner or a homeowner into going ahead and roofing the house and absorbing fees. I've asked people who've gotten hurt by it, and I was going to talk to the state's attorney. So if you have anything, if you hear of anything, I appreciate the input. But I don't know what we can do. I don't know, short of registering roofers in the area. They already have to have a license to do it. But what some of the roofers are doing is using other roofers' licenses from that they're affiliated with in other areas, and that's how they're getting around not having a license in a particular area.
I wonder if the sheriff's aware of it.
That he's on the list to, maybe he can put something about it, and I don't want to mention anybody's names because it's embarrassing to him, but maybe he can talk to him and maybe get it online. But
Like
it's,
Gary.
well, I'm hoping he's
Yeah.
writing this down. I don't want to single out anybody, but I do know some of the companies that are doing it.
Okay.
So, so I just wanted to make you folks
I wasn't
aware.
aware. I hadn't heard
Yeah.
that.
They're especially preying on seniors,
Are they doing it in the country, in town?
country and town,
And by the time
everywhere.
you're good, you're pretty easy.
I know of one poor guy that, he's got a standard size house and spent $42,000 putting on a new roof. So, and they, it's one of those deals where, buyer beware, but I think we have an obligation at least to make them aware that there's
I know, I
issues.
just, coming into town on Court Street, I saw a company that I've never heard of before. I don't know.
Well, you've heard of this one, there's one of the big offenders, but,
All right.
all right. Dan?
I talked to Ann this morning, she interviewing 2 people for a position out at the shelter, so I'll keep in contact, and when she decides, we'll have a meeting and bring it to the board.
And, as per our discussions, I don't think anybody's gonna object if you have to pay a little bit more. And,
Okay.
in the new budget, Andrea, and you guys should be involved with that, is what her
I'm gonna stop in
salary
this morning
is.
and talk to her, so.
Okay, very good. Andy?
I stopped down and looked at the back wall on the Diamond Brothers building, looks like he's doing a really good job. You seen it?
No, I've gotta get over there, I haven't been over there, I've been out of town.
Doors, I think he said they're on order, should be in a couple of weeks, and they're doing a really good job back there.
Good, glad to hear it.
And those Audubon's hadn't been here this week.
they may be done, close to being done. There was less damage on this backside than there was on
That's what
Yeah.
Michael said, so.
They're supposed to be getting us some final pricing. They're just waiting to get some pricing on those work.
Yeah, Michael's hoping for a significant reduction not on the first one, but on phase two. Which reduce all costs, that's a percentage of. Now, in talking to Michael this morning, and I don't know whether everybody's aware, but we said okay on the fennials, or on that they gave us. But then I talked to Russ and Andy talked to them up top, Creeling, and they were gonna refine it and evolve it a little bit. Is that not correct?
Yeah.
So I let Michael know that.
The one that we saw wasn't necessarily a reproduction of ours, correct? Is that what you understood him to say?
It was pieces of a previous job to
Previous job.
demonstrate
Right. So that
how
was-
they would go about building.
So it'd be more historically accurate.
Yeah,
That's the way
Correct.
we understood it.
right.
So I made Michael aware of that because he called me when we talked yesterday. He asked, he'd heard there was discussion up top, so he wanted to know whether we had approved or not approved the figure. And I said, yes, we have, and then I talked to Russ and made sure he understood that was evolving, not from us, but the craftsmen up on top there, which we're glad of, we're refining what they were doing, and I think that's wonderful. The other thing we need to have a committee meeting on fairly shortly is the issue of hardening of the facility to make sure we're all on the same page on hardening the jail.
Of what now?
Hardening the jail.
Okay.
In other words, making it storm-proof for, the jail itself and 911, whether we want to do anything else besides that. It's not in the original bid. So we need to take a look at that, and Michael suggested that we have a phone conference with the committee and take a look at that. Okay?
That's
Phil?
part of our core thing.
Yeah, probably. Phil, do you have anything on the
Nope.
education? Okay.
Well, I told you the other day, is it?
Russ? Carl?
No.
Lisa?
You bet.
I didn't forget you.
Okay, so went to chamber board meeting yesterday at noon. Warren Sperry is also whatever you call us, not honorary, but anyway, members on their representing organizations. And the Community Foundation still has $3,990 in an account from the clock tower project that was specifically to repair Lady Justice. And he said he needs you to write him a letter stating that we would appreciate receiving those funds for use in our courthouse restorations. And it
We'd
does not-
actually use it on the,
And it does not have to be specific in our letter.
but we can't. I mean,
But we
we're gonna
could,
have a little
yes.
work done on the clock,
Right.
so we'll use it for that.
Okay, so,
Can you come up with a letter for
all
me?
right, great.
And I'll get it to Warren. Thank you. He may have asked me about that prior.
Yes, he said something to me.
Okay, well, now you've heard it and it's in the minutes and.
You threw me under the bus. A term I'm familiar with.
As I said, I'm not going to a CO2 meeting tonight. I did have the HRC 708 board this morning, and there's just a lot of good stuff going there. And I really think that the seed money we had given for some projects has been a part of what's enabled him to really get moving. But I'm just going to give you a brief overview that our 708 board is specifically to deal with the tax revenue that we choose at the moment and have always to fund HRC. But we do have the opportunity to put those funds elsewhere. But HRC is who we choose and they do a wonderful job. So we have a 5-year plan that starts January 1, 2024 through December 31st, 2029. I'm just reading the highlights. The purpose of our funds and HRC's actions is to enhance the quality of life, provide efficient resource allocation, provide equitable access, no refusal of services. We help provide financial stability to the organization that we fund. We take compliance and accountability seriously. We make sure that there is community engagement. We recognize our funding responsibility, and we have a transparent selection process for who we award our funds. And in the summary, the Edgar County Community Mental Health Board, the 708 Board, remains dedicated to our mission and the well-being of our community. This plan, effective from January 1, 2024 to December 31, 2029, reflects our commitment to adapt to evolving needs while upholding values and principles that have guided us for years. And we meet quarterly, and Jonathan has given us, gave us a really good update on their increase in staffing, which gives them the ability to increase their programming and to decrease their waiting list, which was something that we were very concerned about. The majority of their waiting list is children, and they have a new provider coming in who is going to focus on children. And also, they have a new medical director, and she is starting staff training on assisting parents. And so that also then should help with the issues with children. Their laundry facility, they are doing upgrades, and he's been very successful in getting grants and a zero interest loan. So these are all good things that the funding that we give helps meet the needs of a variety of our residents. And I think that is all.
Can I ask a favor? Can you get their levy request for me?
Jonathan emailed you the budget this morning. I don't know whether
He probably emailed it to Don. Yeah, I may have it.
Yeah, you do, because we talked about it.
Thanks. And the same thing, Monica, if I could, I know you told our folks that you were gonna get it in as soon as you could.
Yeah, the Board of Health meets on Wednesday.
Okay.
And so I'll present it to them and get it right over to you.
Just remember the truth in taxation of 5%.
Okay.
Otherwise, we gotta have a hearing.
Oh, okay,
Okay.
sure thing.
All right, thanks. There is no report. Don's been working on, he's finally got all most of the bugs worked out of the budget as far as payroll and Paycom and all that stuff. So we did not have a sheet. He will get it out to us as soon as we have it on cash flow. That he has it, so I'll get it to you. We have a negotiation meeting on the 25th next week. We'll set up a meeting for the committee, for the Building and Grounds Committee. I don't know where we're at on getting everybody's budget in, so if there's any department heads that here that have not got their budgets in, I ask them to please do it, excluding, I understand your situation, Monica. Carl? Oh, I thought you were, the body language told me you were about ready to hit it, so. We've been together too many years, Carl. All right. Do you have any? Yes.
I said, Lisa, I would like to attend one of the CO2 meetings, if you would let me know. And then I was just gonna tell you guys, I forgot earlier, talking about Diamond Brothers, the brick money is going to be available, so they received my notice of intent, that was approved, so now I'm in the sub-application process for the generator at Wetzel.
Cool. That is
Hopefully,
great.
fingers crossed.
Right. And that grant was, I think for what, 30 grand? Was it 27 or,
No, the brick money is like,
it's open? Oh, I thought we
yeah,
had
no,
given
we
an
just
estimate.
submitted the 3 projects for the city, the county,
Okay.
and they were all generators.
Okay, cool. All right, that's
Did we
great.
get something done about your propane tank? Or-
It got filled this time, but other than that, we rent the tank and left it with Jeff.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yes, I talked to her meeting. We don't own the tank, so I was gonna come back and find out. We went ahead and filled it because we have to now. And then we'll come up with a solution. I called, a couple of propane places to get us some information on how to handle that. Okay? Thank you for reminding me though, but I'd forgotten to even do a report on it, sorry. Anything else to come before the meeting this morning? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn. Russ moves, Andy seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. And for Dan, we're adjourned.